Alright, welcome back, and it's time to take a look at the new M1A1 HC Abrams main battle tank. Now, besides the new vehicle, we will be taking a look at one of the new features that we have received in the last update. Basically, actually I should say finally, we have the X-ray, and we also have the detailed armor analysis tool in the game, which is honestly quite big. This is a long requested feature, and it's finally in the game. Now, the M1A1 HC does have a better main cannon over the previous Abrams. It has a 120mm main cannon, and besides that you also do get a new shell for this vehicle, which we'll be taking a look at later. But overall, it's classic Abrams. Has very powerful turret armor. Now this is the new armor analysis tool. Basically it does show you the stats of the vehicle that you have selected. Overall, it has interesting, I would say, composite armor, as you will see on the X-ray. But overall, well protected front, the turret being the thickest part of the vehicle. The obvious weak spot is the turret ring and the lower plate. Usually I aim at the lower plate on this vehicle or the turret ring. If you hit the turret ring, it just blows up immediately. So that's how to basically disable the Abrams, or you can just aim at the lower plate. You can technically go through the main cannon, but you have to aim at those small green areas around the cannon or directly into the cannon. Also, let's show you how thick the can is. I mean, it's honestly very detailed, a very detailed little tool. The side and rear armor, well, we already know that it's going to be quite thin, so don't show the side or rear part of the vehicle to the enemy. Even though you do have some composite protection there, yeah, I wouldn't rely on those. Now, when it comes to the survivability of this vehicle, you do have blowout panels at the back. So getting ammo racked in this tank in the Abrams is a little bit difficult, unless you have ammo stored in the hull, and if the ammo in the hull gets hit, then yeah, it will get ammo racked. But if you select just enough shells so that only the turret is filled with the shells, then you will have decent protection against a catastrophic vehicle detonation, because the blowout panels will just save the overall vehicle. But you can basically check out the armor thickness here. Honestly, also I like how only the front part on the side is basically protected. The other part of the vehicle isn't. This is the X-ray, which will basically show you the interior structure of the vehicle. Now we see that in the turret, the Abrams is well protected with composite armor. Overall, the side, front is protected, but the roof and rear of the vehicle isn't. So that kind of tells me that if you get hit by a ATGM on top, it means that you might get overpressure. I haven't experienced that, but based on what I'm seeing here, if a missile flies in the turret, in the top of the turret vehicle, it might get destroyed, or high explosive shells might work. Now, I also do like, this is something I did not expect to see, but they actually done a very accurate depiction of the armor. You can see the detailed, you can pretty much see how the armor, the composite looks, and I feel like this is a very interesting feature. It does also show you the overall total thickness, which is good, and the way it's constructed, which I actually like a lot. And yeah, now it makes sense why around the main cannon, why it's so easy to penetrate the vehicle. It does make sense when you look at the overall X-ray analysis and at the armor. So this kind of serves for us to see the weak spots of the vehicle, to look at the armored vehicle, so that we can destroy and disable the vehicles more effectively. Alright, so I promised to show you the ammo because we have one new shell which I find quite interesting. I think that shell is only present on the M1A1 HC. I haven't seen that shell on any other vehicle, at the moment at least. But I believe we will see more shells coming into the game, more types of shells coming into the game as time goes on. After all, we're getting to modern vehicles. This is a very high tier vehicle. There will be more, and tech tree is also not too far away at this moment in the game, which I'm looking forward to. I'm very interested to see how will they make the tech tree. So you have HE-ATFS, dual HE-ATFS ammo, but the HE-OR, high explosive anti... Oh, my apologies, I was distracted a bit. High explosive obstacle reduction shell. Quite interesting, honestly. First time that I see a shell like this on the vehicle. But besides that, you do have dual APFSDS shell options and dual HE-ATFS. The best shell penetrates 620mm, which I think is one of the highest amounts of penetration that we have seen so far on a vehicle in tier 10. There's the M60A MBT that can penetrate 580mm in tier 9, but this is a tier 11 vehicle, and penetration wise I would say definitely one of the better ones. So let's take the M1A1 HC Abrams for a little ride. Now, how does this vehicle overall play? Well, I mean, it feels like an Abrams, it plays like an Abrams, it is very maneuverable, it does have a gas turbine engine, as we could see on the X-ray. It does show you all the important details, which I do personally like a lot, and that's the third ring hit. Second hit, that's the M1A1 that I'm currently engaging. Overall, even though it has all that composite protection and all that armor, as you can see, you're still able to just cut through the armor very easily. I mean, in top tier, I think only the turret is somewhat reliable, I would say. If you can hide the turret ring below, if you can just expose the top of the turret, basically just the cannon and the frontal armor of the turret, then it should actually be quite the difficult vehicle to take out. But the turret ring being the weak spot and the lower plate is the way how to just disable the M1A1. In general, the same trick works on the tier 10 Abrams, the same trick will work on this Abrams, and on the IPV I believe it's also since it's the same hull basically. But yeah, overall maneuverability wise and speed wise, this is a highly maneuverable vehicle. I mean, its engine has a lot of horsepower, it's a turbine engine basically, so, and you can hear the turbine as well. When it comes to sound design, not bad, I would say. The engine sounds in this game sound really good, and they sound accurate. The shell damage does, it's spawning wise and overall fragmentation wise, it's doing a decent job. It definitely slaps, as I like to say. It is able to cut through any armor. If you aim at weak spots, it will just go through. However, you have to make sure that you hit weak spots, because some of the other main battle tanks, specifically the T90, I think the Challenger as well, do have powerful enough turret armor to bounce incoming shells from this vehicle, at least in the turret. So you have to make sure that you use the right ammo for the right situation. Sometimes the HE-ATFS ammo can be helpful a lot in certain occasions where APFSDS fails, and this is the reason why I personally This is why I personally prefer this combination of shells. AP for most vehicles, HE-ATFS for certain vehicles where APFSDS fails. So if you do like to use the other ammo though, that's fine. We do have options with ammo on this vehicle, so that's a very good thing, I would say. A very helpful thing at that. So my initial experience of the M1A1 HC is definitely a lot better than the previous Abrams that we had. Much better, definitely. The overall difference in main gun performance is massive. The previous M1 was able to penetrate up to 350mm, I believe, or maybe something like that. You get basically double the penetration. On the new one, on the M1A1 HC, much more powerful main cannon, while retaining about the same maneuverability as the classic M1 Abrams. So when it comes to top tier vehicles, it's definitely decent. If you do like this vehicle, then it's definitely worth playing. Would I say it's worth to make it premium? Well, if you like the vehicle, it's up to you, honestly. But from my experience, decent vehicle. I had some good battles with it. Has a very good armor, a very good cannon, very good maneuverability. Overall, if anything, it does feel like an Abrams. It has that unique feel. It doesn't feel as agile as or fast as a Leopard, but at the same time, it doesn't have a very bad reverse speed. Its reverse is actually really good, and speed-wise and overall turret rotation-wise and how it feels, does feel like a T90 a little bit, to be honest, but a T90 with a much better reverse speed. This thing has a very good reverse speed, and overall, when it comes to getting back to cover with the reverse, that's where this thing will just work really well. But with that being said, we are nearing the end of the video here. It was a short one. I'll definitely play a lot more of the M1A1 HC Abrams. I'll play a lot more of it because this vehicle is just so much, I would say very much enjoyable to use. But with that being said, hope you guys enjoyed. If you would like to support me, feel free to like and subscribe. And with that being said, stay safe, and as always, I'll see you next one.